Hi, I want to tell you about how I expanded my game world by raising walls. Sounds contradictory, right? Here's what happened. My starting point was Gupo Yu, the island my game takes place on, with some houses and interactable objects placed on it. After entry you spawn here, in the middle, and then get the option to go either left or right. I sensed that there was something missing for some time already. When I was testing my game I often asked myself, why would someone take this path over the other? Or even worse, would someone new to the game be able to not lose orientation here? So I tried to solve it like the ancient angst of the PS1 era would have solved all problems. Throw the fog, I raised a giant wall of fog. It's partly see-through but acts as a solid wall to block off this whole area of the island. You see there's nothing there, and unless that changes, I don't want the player to get lost there with a low render distance and no point of interest inside. It's a safety measurement to protect the player from wasting his time and wandering too far off the intended path. Because every footstep in this direction early in the game equals to that same distance of backtracking. Then I took it even further and thought, this area is mostly deeper lore and late game stuff, so why don't I wall this off too? So I copied the wall and moved it over here and problem solved. Right? Well, kinda. Now the player can choose to explore to their right and they would quickly find the hut barricaded and behind it the fog wall, hiding a silhouette of a smaller house. At that point players should ask themselves two questions. I wonder what is in or behind there. I wonder how to get there. And that's a good thing. Instead of offering too many options that might depend on prior knowledge I can't guarantee the player has, I can give the player more goals on his way to finishing the game and direct his experience in a way that helps him and me as a dev. This also creates new gameplay. The fog walls off an important area of the game, so there has to be a way to lift it. And maybe there should be an NPC that gives the player a hint on how to do that. And so on and so on. As you can see, a simple choice to limit the player created a better, more interesting experience. There's mystery, challenge and progression, where before there was an open field. I went on to apply the same thing on a smaller scale with vegetation. I made this tall grass model and used it next to the house to visually block off this path. This has multiple effects. The player's attention is steered towards the barricaded door to take a peek inside, and then to the right where the main entrance is. And it implies the question of, what's behind the grass? To visually obstruct the path is like putting a soft wall there. I trust you as a player to be curious and go there yourself, eventually. Okay, we learned that the shape and position of the environment can be used to propose a path to the player. Same goes for color, directional sound, light and movement. I used a lighter grass color to hint that there's something to be found on the other side of this hill. I used a buzzing noise cutting through the nature sounds of Gupo Yu to lure the player into the container where he will obtain a useful tool I want him to have access to. I used my fake lights to highlight a key that might be missed otherwise. And lastly, I have the swarm of colorful, buzzing insects swirling around some smaller items, combining multiple techniques, so they really can't be missed. I'm only scratching the surface here, but these are the main tools devs can use to guide the player through the experience. This video was a quicker look into something that I thought was interesting while working on Gupo Yu. Longer videos, including the promised one about graphic, will still be coming. But I wanted to try this format and also have more time to work on Gupo Yu itself, as these take a lot of effort and time to make. Now if you stayed this long, you're probably invested enough to join my Monumyth Discord, where I share stuff about Gupo Yu and its development and you can ask questions. Also leave a like, subscribe and Gupo Yu!